You know, the Rippa Fest is actually just a celebration of the people in the chat and their love and devotion to the Rippaverse. Well, I am one of those people. And even though I didn't necessarily like this specific book, the first two times that I read it, whenever it first came out, first day release, I wanted to revisit it again, visit the themes that Mike Barron said, the things that he wrote down. And now I challenged myself to break it all apart. So that's what we're going to do today. So, Cato Gooding, and yes, this is not a review of the entire book. Instead, what we are looking at is the themes of the book, the duality of the altruistic nature of Cato Gooding. Cato Gooding is an exceptionally smart child. Picking up in his fourth grade year, we see two things off the bat. Now, those two things are he has a thirst for the scientific, as is shown by him reading things like editions of Gyro magazine. He would rather excuse himself from the dinner table to go back and read and learn more. His thirst for knowledge is insatiable. The other is that he uses the scientific method in his strategies, especially when it goes to the school bully. Gauging the impetus, aware of his surroundings, and eventually adapting to those surroundings so he can be proactive rather than reactive. It is all formulaic in his head. Now, a lot of people do think this way, and I think that's the way that Cato was actually designed to be. He analyzes the threat and prepares for all the outcomes, which is an extremely smart thing to do, especially for someone who is not an adept. Now, as with most children, the smarter, more gifted kids are either idolized because, like, wow, you're so smart, you're going to be the popular one, or they are despised and bullied by the people who, let's just say, they come from a lesser than household. And what I mean by that is that a lot of the times they are broken homes. A lot of the times there are people who there is a golden child and there is a black sheep. Well, we have a black sheep in the name of Ron in this story, and that's how it goes with this. Much of the time, these bullies, they're the hotshot swagsters sporting Letterman jackets, fucking the other stereotype, and yes, I do mean coitus, the ditzy cheerleaders. It is a stereotype, but it's a stereotype for a reason because anyone who has gone through the cliques of high school and middle school to that point, you'll all know that these things exist. Cato breaks this mold. And after high school, when the pop scene, when the pop culture, when the popular scene and the cliques fade, adulthood takes over and you are on your own. Now you have to do with what school has put into your hands and hopefully put into your brains. Now we have to see, can you stand up for yourself without your parents backing you on every single thing? Can you stand on your own 2 feet? Will you sink or will you swim? In Cato's position, he flies. Now, I'm not saying literally, but he flies whenever it comes to this psychological matter. After high school, after it fades, because adulthood takes over and you are on your own, Cato exemplifies these facts of life by always being prepared. See, he was bullied for quite a few times before he learned to fight back. And you know how he fought back? It really wasn't by throwing a punch. He fought back by being prepared. I know what he's going to do. This is his MO. He was literally gauging Ron's go-to move and knew how to counter it. It was proactive rather than reactive. So he never had to get into a fight. All he had to do was stop the fight that was coming to him and basically bounce back at it. I'm rubber, you're glue. What bounces off me sticks to you. I know that's a childish way of saying things, but since we do start off in the fourth grade year, I think some of those childish euphemisms and childish phrases actually make sense in this case. He exemplifies these facts of life by always being prepared, researching, innovating, and learning the finer points of human discretions, all while maintaining a lawful practice. And that is one of the big things with Cato Gooding. One of the big things that I saw in my fourth read through, and it finally clicked with me. He did it in a lawful manner. He wasn't out, even if there was like mutual combat, he wasn't there for that. I'm here to innovate things so that anybody who is bullied or anybody who is under attack can immediately have a recourse of action without necessarily needing the knowledge, without necessarily needing the training. And now we're going to move past that because that was childhood, high school. Now they are all grown up. They have graduated. They've moved on to different portions of their lives. We reach the portion of the story where every character is in the pages for a reason. Whether it be his parents in the very first opening scene they know they have a gifted child and they are pushing and spurring him on. Now we have the school bully, and we don't know anything about his parental life. But all we can do is assess that it's probably a broken home because that's the light and the dark. That's the duality of the altruistic nature of what Gooding actually represents. What I mean by it is that this book has absolutely no fluff in it. It is straight and to the point, sometimes letting us develop our own points for ourselves, which I think is a great thing. Ron Hodges is the school bully, the younger year bully, and he is enlisted in the military, apparently in special forces. And what they're doing, the way that you find him, you don't know it at first, but you find him and they're just sparring in the courtyard and they get a mission. Well, what is his mission? Ron Hodges' mission, the bully's mission, is he wants to kill somebody. He wants to kill people. So he is not altruistic in any way whatsoever. He is the antithesis and the opposite of what Gooding wants to do. Gooding wants to defend. Ron wants to kill. These two opposites will clash at some point. Now, he's not necessarily a full-blown villain yet at this point, although it is shown that he is nothing but selfish. A lack of character development abounds. And the reason why I say this is because we don't know anything about his background. We do know the familial lifestyle of Cato. We do know that. We have no idea about Ron. We just know that he was a harasser throughout high school, and he's known for it, infamously known for it. But now he's gone off to the military, and he's now in special forces where they kind of want him to. And he sees that he's getting paid to do it because he is so good at just beating ass. The tale is being told in its own sequestered style. And I do extremely love that as well. And the themes reign true whether or not you connect with them. His character is further developed a tad bit later after an accident that exaggerates his violent tendencies. And that is when they are on a mission where he gets struck by lightning. They're trying to steal something after they were already imprisoned and broken out by a secret society for stealing money. You know, like, oh, you like to steal money on this special ops case. Well, now you're going to steal for us and we'll pay you. And during this thing, which should be on the screen right now, he gets struck by lightning and his violent tendencies, they are just exaggerated. So now he has basically become an accept at this point. He is no longer just a normal piece of shit human. He is now a piece of shit accept. When the evil and brash character become an exaggerated and powerful accept, the two childhood rivals are forced to meet again. And we're talking about Cato. Years have passed. He has He has been shafted by his own company that took all of his research and all of his inventions and claimed them as his own. Well, he just decided that he's going to do his own thing. He will only work for himself because it's not for other people, it's for the greater good. This is the altruistic nature of Cato Gooding. They're going to meet up at some point in some way. So while Cato has dedicated himself to lawfulness and self preservation, Ron has dedicated himself to be the antithesis to everything, not even knowing that that is Cato's mindset. Not a creator, but a thief. Not a life giver, but a killer. Not methodical, just a conceptual gun for hire. Cato is waiting, though. He's been preparing for this his entire life because it has proven to be his life's mission to graduate from being reactive. And that, yes, I did use that turn of phrase because of the graduation scene in the beginning of the book. To graduate from being reactive and using his exceptional talent to become proactive. And that's why his company is succeeding so much. Even a normal person can stand up against exceptionals. This is how I view the Gooding character now after the fourth read and the story that has been told in this first iteration and interaction with Cato Gooding in the Rippaverse. I can only say, if you can't see the duality of everything that is going on right now, at least in this one book, if you don't see the duality of Cato being, the bullied, but learning how to defend against it, and the bully, just it's almost like light and dark side. It's almost going to bring a Star Wars kind of thing in there, the light versus the Sith, the Jedi versus the Sith. But that is exactly what is happening. I hope you pay attention to this book a little bit more. I know it took me a little bit to go back into it and give it a fair shake. But the fair shake that I gave it, I'm glad I did. I hope you do too. This is Malty from Mouth of Malty. We love you. We'll see you later. Hail the Rippaverse. Bye.